Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Chilo here once again as always, and today I have with me an amazing guest. The OGs on this channel know her, so and I think I have a video with her recently again, so the OGs know her. If you've been here, you know this face. So before she introduces herself, I want to say what's this video about. This video is almost like a series. It's not a series, but like a series where I'm trying to involve every age bracket or every kind of people on my channel: the single, the married, the engaged, the children, the family person, the mother, the father, every kind of person, so that if you're coming to Japan, you can at least relate to any of these videos, right? I have a video like this where I did giving birth in Japan with Mrs. Margaret, and so many of you found it helpful. I really, I doubted doing that video. I second guessed it, but seeing the feedback, it made me feel like, thank God I did it. Some of you have reached out via mail or just in comment section saying things like, oh, I want to come to Japan, or my husband. The most common one I have is my husband got a job in Japan, and I would be joining him. I have children. Can you talk about what it's like raising kids in Japan? And honestly, Choma being Choma, Chilo being Chilo, I don't like talking about something that I have not currently gone through. So that's why I decided I'll do this video with Akunna, someone that has kids. She had one child before coming to Japan.
I think that's an
Then she gave birth to her second child here, so she has both experiences.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So my name is Akunna. I'm a Nigerian living and studying in Japan. I also have a YouTube channel where I discuss about my experiences in Japan so far, learning and studying in Japan. So guys, like she said, this video is about my experiences so far raising kids in Japan, especially given the fact that I had a bit of experience in Nigeria before coming to Japan.
To link her channel in the description box, and I'll pin her comment just so that some of you that have issues with accessing the description box, you can just click and go straight. We have a video on her channel. We did something very juicy on her, something I have never done before. We only banter about it within ourselves, so it's the first time ever that we are coming out to like banter, like just talk about it. I'll put that video in the description box. Guys, go ahead, watch it. Let's get right into this video. This video, raising kids, the good, the bad, the ugly. So in one word, how would you describe raising kids in Japan?
Overwhelming.
And
it's funny I didn't even have to think so far too much about it. I'm going to be raw, guys. It's been very overwhelming.
I've seen her in different faces. So
Choma has been, aside from my husband, Choma has been the most recipient of my mood swings.
I didn't tell you. What's the first culture shock that hits you with raising a child in Japan?
Food for kids. Yeah. So when I came to Japan, that was the first day we met. Which was, remember the first question I asked you and Dr. Habib, no, not you, asked Dr. Habib was, where can I buy baby food?
Yes,
and then
we drove out that night to buy 7-Eleven
food, which we didn't find.
Yeah.
So it was shocking. In Nigeria, they sell baby food everywhere. Cerelac is there. Milk
At
is
least
there.
you'll find something.
You
Golden
must
Morn.
find something. Thank you. You must find something. Even if the store, even if it's a drugstore.
Yeah, even
You'll
if it's
find
not
something.
a children's store or something.
So apparently in Japan, the rule is tight for selling baby food. It
It
got to a point I had to send a message to Nestle.
Are you serious?
Why can't I see your products in Japan? But you have an office here that said Nestle doesn't sell baby food in Japan. They only sell beverages. Because I saw their milk, I saw other products for adults, but not for kids.
What's a wawu?
So that was the first culture shock. Like, I don't understand. And then everybody was acting like their kids don't wake up at night to eat.
Preach. Sure. Like your own child is so cultured.
So I don't really know if it's, I don't know how this is coming off as, but I'm not trying to put out the negative tone, but it felt more like, your situation is so different. Our children only drink milk and eat rice.
Why are you so desperate to find this?
Because maybe during the day it's maybe a bit easier, because she was already eating solid food, but she was just 1 year and 1 week. So the solid food, she barely had 4 teeth, so it's not like she was eating much solid food. So, and I needed something to make, especially at night. It was very difficult. That was the first culture shock I actually experienced.
Now, what would you say are like the benefits Before we go to pros, like the benefits of having a child or raising kids in Japan. It's almost
in
like
Japan
pros.
or abroad. Okay, in Japan, let's narrow it down to Japan. Okay, yeah, it's more like pros. I think the first thing I would say is being multilingual. I'm not going to streamline it to bilingual because in Japan you see the Chinese, you see the Koreans, you see the Thais, and all those things. So my baby has had that opportunity of being in a situation where you have 3 or 4 people around her speaking different languages. I remember Mrs. Margaret. I think I learned Ama and Apa from her son because his best friend is a Korean and he's in Japan. He's in Japan. So his best friend speaks Ama and Apa. That's what he calls their mom and dad.
Okay.
So you can imagine now, that means he learns a bit of Korean, a bit of, then of course his first language is Japanese, then he's learning Yoruba and then English.
Your daughter too hears Igbo.
I remember
hears Pidgin.
She's literally my translator. Her first language is Japanese.
Yes.
And then her English is as fluent as people that made English
we'll
language.
Get to the cons. Like you have to be doubly intentional for that to happen naturally. Akunna they must try though.
So then she speaks she understands my native language. And so I think being multilingual is one of the benefits. Then I think your child gets this exposure. I mean, a very wide exposure. And then in Japan, you have more of foreigners here than in Nigeria. Yeah, I think that's where maybe that homogeneity
plus your kind of friends are foreigners, revolving around foreigners.
Thank you. So exactly. So now she gets to test different people. Like in Nigeria, I barely knew what other African people looked like.
Yeah, so it's here that you now hear, Botswana. If I hear someone accent, I'm like,
yeah. Or when you see them, you're like, this person
like,
does not really
look
like Nigerian. So now she's seen this world is not made up of just people like me. You have these people here, So she now gets to understand, people are different. Like that. I think I like that exposure. Not lacking knowledge in certain things.
The world is her stage.
Thank you.
Literally.
The world is her stage, literally. So I think I like that part.
I think I have one benefit from watching. I just think a child will be very cultured. Japan is so polite, so neat, so their culture is ingrained in them, from their language to their curriculum, every single thing. I hear a lot of Nigerians, or Africans that are living in some other countries, and one of their fears and complaints is their kids change, their kids become rebellious. They whole join bad gang. Their kids are now talking back at them, using profane words, doing this. It is not the case in Japan. In Japan,
I totally agree with you.
They teach you respect. Everybody's respectful. They teach them how to clean after they eat. A child will eat and is cleaning, arranging, so composed. So like, I see her first child, and I'm just like, more.
Everything you said now reminds me of yesterday. 2 things happened. Yesterday, the World Cup is going on, and then there's this video trending of the Japanese cleaning up in the stadium, and this was even their match.
It's not their match,
So you can imagine these are just a few of them
and
outside
they're not
Japan.
It.
They're not I remember the man asking them this for the camera. I said no,
they're not faking it.
They pick up after themselves. And then that same yesterday, I bought something for her, some clothes, and then after testing them, she was folding them. My husband was very impressed because she was folding them with some sort of pattern. So he was like, look at how she's folding these clothes. It's not like the way we're folding. And I'm like, they teach them that in school.
They teach them
to fold their napkins.
I was surprised when you told me that.
In nursery, I think in nursery school in Japan, they don't do all this whole let's learn A, B, C, D. It's about skills, soft skills, like being creative. In Japan, they believe the formative years, the infant and early toddlerhood should be about creativity. Let the child flow, and then also understand his surroundings before you start bombarding him with A's for apple, B's for ball. So maybe educationally, what we think as academics is not really what they do. In that part. So what they do is just learning the culture and all that. I think so far these are the most benefits that come to mind.
So I think we've established some pros. It's not something you can exhaust in one video. So I want us to now go to the downside, because a lot of people are watching and are like, I live here. It's not only this thing that you're passing. So we're going to go down to the downsides. Like this video is good, bad, and ugly. So I have some shower, but let's hear her.
Okay, that reminds me of what I said. I would like to mention
school fees.
No, community.
Okay.
That one really hits me, guys. Like, in Nigeria, I think I mentioned it in one of your videos too, that In Nigeria, I literally was cruising with parenthood. People were everywhere.
Assisting.
Guys, people were everywhere to help me. So when I got to Japan, it was like I had to relearn. This is somebody that has spent 1 year and 1 week with this baby, but I struggled to relearn. In Nigeria, my baby wakes up at night. My husband feeds her. Sometimes I feed her, or if my mom is around, she helps my siblings.
So you don't feel
Thank you. I was even running the business. I leave my child at home. But this one, she was literally my handbag. There was no one to help me. And then there was a time I fell sick, and it was just the both of us dealing with our sickness. So the lack of community is really, really, really a bad side, for me. And I asked them, I think it was last year I had to ask when I had my second baby, because it became more overwhelming last year. And then one of Yukiko-san, she now said, actually, in the olden days, things were not like this. But as Japan modernized, somehow everybody lost touch. Then I think another downside is, I'm not going to speak in a bad light, but when you're going to a country, you have to weigh some things, and that has to be with the culture and value of where you're going to. So in Japan, people are naturally unexpressive. So this means that I have to do an extra job of making sure
so she's not timid.
Thank you. That's the word. Because you don't want her to be timid, you still have to do this extra task. And it also depends on where you're coming from. Maybe if your continent has same values, you don't need to bother.
Don't mind.
Yeah, but from where we come from, we are more expressive than Japanese. So I have to put in that extra effort. Because she's a child, so she copies what people are doing around her. So every day I try to make sure I don't ask her how was school. I'm like, who did you make friends with today? Did you look for anybody's trouble? Who was kind to you? Were you kind to someone? Did you write this? Because if you say how was school, they just give you that simple one monosyllable.
Answer, it was fine. Even as adults, we do that thing now. Just fine.
So I try to engage her, make sure she's expressive. Okay, this person did this person did that. Then you have that conversation. Else, that's how the child just becomes silent, monosyllabic kind of child. So you have to put in that extra effort. Then in my case, where we are in a non-English speaking country, like Choma always applauds me. That's virtually the only thing she applauds me for in this life.
I don't applaud that for. Whenever I see her doctor like this, I used to like to get English. How are you? Oh, auntie miss you. I just like hearing her speaking, because they are doing a good job on that one.
So in Japan, like I mentioned earlier, Japanese is her first language, more like her native language. So that English we had to, me and my husband, and God, I'm grateful that my husband came, because when it was just me, even I was teaching her English, she's only hearing it from me. Because me and Choma, we don't have time to be speaking all this plenty British English. Forget I'm speaking English here. Is it? You may not really.
It's YouTube.
Exactly. You may not really just suppose our.
That's what happened. No, we don't miss it with Igbo. Because you mean that girl that saw that. What are we speaking?
One Chinese girl. So it was difficult that I'm the only person expressing or communicating to her. So she cannot learn a language when it's just
one person
talking to her. So maybe my husband came. I mean, in the space of weeks, like 3-4 weeks.
I noticed the improvement.
It went from 0 to 100 real fast. And then he's really dedicated. I give it to him, like teaching her virtually all the content on YouTube that's educational. He does that. When he came, he even came with one of his friends that used to be a teacher.
Gave him some with their
curriculum. So he was buying books, the books that school use.
Okay.
According to her age, he bought them.
Exactly.
So that's how we've really, really gotten to where we are. So now she speaks very fluent English, very fluent Japanese. She understands Igbo very well. So it's really helpful. But this is the downside of being a non-English speaking country for those of us that speak English. But then another downside would be,
I think you mentioned school fees.
Yeah, school fees. School fees in Japan is very cheap, in quotes.
Very expensive.
Guys, it's every month.
I'm still arguing it. How can it be every month? I thought it's every term or semester.
Dear, it's every month. If I read my bank book, you'll see it's every month. So you pay for school bus. Like now that she has a school where they use school bus, pay for school bus and for the school fees. So paying down monthly fees is not a small thing.
I mean, raising a child is expensive.
It's expensive and it's not constant. We apply every 6 months.
So it changes.
So the price can be today is 1,000 yen, tomorrow is 10,000 yen, depending on your income. But paying fees, and this is what majorly scares the Japanese people. If you ask 10 Japanese people, 9.9% will tell you they don't want to have kids
because
the cost
yes,
of education
it's
is expensive.
expensive.
The cost of education in Japan
Even
is very
giving
expensive.
birth is
And
expensive.
It's even funny that I'm saying education while I'm even getting some discounts as a student. I'm not getting 0 yen.
Then imagine when you stop being a student.
Thank you. And I'm paying the full amount. Expensive.
I think one other thing I would say is, as a balance to something we mentioned in the first point, is the whole culture thing. As beautiful as the culture can be, you know, the whole you know, clean up after you, be respectful, be polite, you know, be kind. That's how their culture is ingrained in. There's also that part of, you know, the whole religion thing.
And that's why I was even coming
and
to.
all
You
for,
lose touch.
or for children especially. At least for us, we already came with that knowing. We came as adults, so there was that knowing of,
You already
we know
know
your left from your right.
Exactly.
You already know, okay, I know God, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I know church. You understand? But coming here, you know,
this is very, very. It's something that is very easy to lose. You see,
if you're not
religion
intentional
and then
about
the
it.
values and culture of your own native home.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't be talking to my child about masquerade because she doesn't know what is masquerade.
She doesn't know what's
So she has also lost touch to an extent of what happens in the Nigerian setting. So sometimes I'm looking for epic movies on YouTube
to show her,
and then YouTube doesn't have much epic movies.
Now everybody's doing cinema standard now.
And then when I see some native movies on Netflix, they have some scenes
that is
we don't want
for children.
It's not for children. So sometimes it takes a lot of intention. So when I see things, some things that are like maybe Egwu Ogene,
you show her.
I show her. This is how we dance. This is how we groove to our music. Then that religion thing, this is still, I'm not going to say it's too much of a struggle, but it's still a struggle sometimes, because I remember back, if I was at home, there are some things, it comes naturally to kids. Because you go to church every day, then you see grandma is going to Bible school, so it's sometimes even difficult for you to explain to her the real essence of this thing that we are doing, because people around her, I say it's not one person that raises a child, it's the community that raises the child. So this is where the whole intentionality really has to come in.
Wow, guys, I kind of know some of these things firsthand because, you know, I'm close to the family and all, but I know some of you that are interested to, okay, how is raising kids? You can see that, like every other country, like if I even do a video of raising kids in Nigeria, there will be the pros and there will be the cons. But it's just, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Just knowing helps you because you now prepare. Okay, I just really hope this video is helpful. If you have questions for that, or you have any other thing like you want to add,
what I want to say again, like I've said before, is the lack of community. So I just want you to have this in mind, that it can be very daunting.
It is
on you, because imagine that like I said earlier, my research is practical oriented, so I need data, I need to do experiments. So you see how I come to school very early, and then I have to go home late. My husband has to go to work, then he picks her late from in the evening school. So you don't even have time to rest. How much you want to engage a child? So it takes a lot for you to be committed. Maybe it's in Nigeria, you can easily say, okay, grandma will pick her up or drop her here, or maybe you have more flexible working hours, so it's easier to kind of maneuver. So that whole lack of community thing, as much as you can, get all the help you can. If it's via video call, that would save you, please do that. Thank God for trauma and salad soup. Let me even say this one here. Because really,
a small salad soup I can cook in this life, and pepper soup, I'll just be managing. What that will help? But
and like committed spouse.
No, her husband was very
so it's very
very helpful.
Shout out to you, my guy.
As in,
it's very, very important, guys. Please, that's community.
So if you're coming to Japan and you have kids, you want to raise kids, hopefully this video helps. Or you're coming here, you don't have kids yet, but you're looking at starting a family, you keep this in mind. Or you're considering countries to come, you have not decided on the country, but Japan is one of it.
Weigh options.
This would help you to weigh your options. So guys, in case you have questions, drop your questions in the comment section. She will try her best, I can't promise, but she'll try her best to answer as much as she can.
Your maternity wife here.
I'll pin her channel or her comments so you can access her channel and see the juicy video we just did. Please guys, show support. Check her channel, check her video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate this. See you next time on Chilotalks. Bye for now, guys.